attempted to escape from Phil. Glass had shattered into my flesh as I was pushed face first into our old coffee table, punching over it as I impacted the glass surface with my torso. Those particular scars were just another reason why I always made sure to cover myself thoroughly. But I had to show Edward mine. So I removed my hand from around his neck and gripped my thick sweater at the bottom hem, while he was searching the floor around the bed with his eyes, not hesitating for a second to lift it up and bring it over my head. The slight chill of the room hit my bare back and chest as I pulled it away quickly, making my hair swing and sway around my shoulders as I freed it. I threw it behind me and watched as Edward finally turned his gaze back to me. His eyes grew wide and his mouth fell open a bit as he stared at my chest. I had on a bra. Nothing sexy or anything, just plain white. I wasn't completely naked. I reasoned to myself it'd be just like him seeing me in a bikini. He gaped momentarily before darting his eyes back up to mine.
"That was highly fucking unnecessary,"
he said disapprovingly. I shrugged my shoulders and smiled at him. Because it was unnecessary, but it's how we were. And I wasn't even blushing a tiny bit because of it. I glanced on the bed beside Edward, spotting the necklace that had caused all this pain and hatred, and I grimaced at it. He followed my gaze to the ring and stared at it blankly. "I'm sorry, it was a stupid present," I sighed regretfully, shaking my head and wishing once again I had just gotten a sketchbook. Edward stared at it blankly for a moment before he reached a hand down and scooped it up. He looked at me and slipped the long chain around his neck without breaking my gaze.
"It's not stupid,"
he whispered, rubbing the suspended ring and dropping it against his pink-scarred chest as his green eyes stared into mine with a rare intensity.
"It's the best fucking thing anyone's ever given me,"
he said simply. Something was telling me he wasn't really talking so much about the ring itself as much as the fact I was giving him my heart. He leaned into me and snaked his arms around my bare waist, pulling my chest against his and resting his head on my shoulder once again. I lifted my arms to wrap around his neck, burying my face in the crook of it again, and stroking his hair softly. He used his nose to nuzzle my hair off my neck, and gave me a soft kiss below my ear. I squeezed his neck tighter, crushing my breast to his bare chest. "Scars against scars," he sighed into my neck.
"I can't say it back,"
he whispered sadly against my skin, and began rubbing my back up and down with his big warm hand slowly and gently. I could feel every bump as his hand ran over my spine.
"You have no fucking idea how much it kills me that I can't,"
he said in an almost angry tone. I shook my head against his neck. "That's not why I said it, Edward," I mumbled truthfully. I had never expected him to feel it back, let alone say it. He rubbed up higher, tangling his fingers into the hair at the nape of my neck. He turned his head and put another soft kiss below my ear.
"You deserve better,"
he whispered sadly into my ear. I furrowed my brows and shook my head vehemently. "Nothing's better than you," I said, sincerely and almost angry at the thought of it. I crushed myself to him further, as if I could crawl inside of him and never leave. He snorted at my comment, shaking his head again, but didn't say anything else about it. He kept rubbing my back up and down softly, occasionally kissing my neck, and giving me another squeeze. I could feel his heartbeat through my own chest as I was pressed against him. We fit together like two pieces of a puzzle. Like we were molded for one another. Maybe Edward couldn't see it yet, but I had hope that he would eventually.
Edward's point of view. I stroked her soft back lightly, gliding over her spine, enjoying the feeling of my girl's skin pressed against mine. The feeling of her heartbeat on my chest. I didn't fucking deserve any of it. Her company, her food, her sleep, and most of all her love. I was a monster. I did the one thing that I didn't even think myself capable of. I fucking hurt her. It just proved further how black my soul really was. And yet, here she is, hugging me and loving me with all her fucking flowers and cookies that I don't deserve. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fucking fair for her to feel that for me, when I couldn't give it back. I knew what the ring was when I saw it. I was trying to lie to myself because I knew the ring could hold many different meanings depending on how you wore it. She put mine on a chain, giving me a choice. She was my friend, and she was loyal, and when the heart came up, I was praying that she wouldn't fucking say it. But then she did. And something inside of me just snapped. She loved what she thought she knew about me, but she never saw the truth. So I showed her the real me, burned and scarred, and fucking ugly on the inside and outside. Even now she denies what I know to be a fact. I'm a fucking murderer. I sat in the corner, too fucking cowardly to do anything to help him, and just watched him die. And yet she denied it. It pissed me off that she could be so fucking naive as to still feel anything but complete disgust for me. So I lost it, and fucking hurt her. I was expecting her to leave. I wanted her to leave, to get as far away from me so I couldn't poison her anymore. But she stayed. And then she had to hug me, like I was the one who needed any fucking comfort. I just spat at her gift and hurt her. And she fucking comforts me. The thought was so fucking ridiculous, I wanted to laugh at her, and cry on her, all at the same time. And as if the gift of her love and comfort wasn't enough to make me feel like shit, she showed me hers. Her scarred stomach and ribs littered with scars. Some small, some deep, disappearing behind the white bra she was wearing. I had seen enough blast wounds from being the hospital with Carlisle to know one, when I saw it. And it didn't matter a bit to me. Even with all her scars, she was still fucking beautiful. And still too fucking good for me, but nothing in that moment was sexual or obscene. It was all loving and caring. Her scars for mine. And for some reason, even after knowing everything, she still wanted me, still wanted to crush her chest against mine and stroke my hair, and just be fucking wonderful. She was still holding her heart out for me to take. It made me want to retch, that I couldn't give her mine. Maybe she was hoping I could change with time, but even I wasn't sure of it. I really fucking wished I could though. I wish I could love her in the way she deserves. Take her out in front of the world, and tell them all about how she made me feel. But instead I'm just a fucking shell of a soul, holding onto her with every fiber of my being, and praying to God that she would wait and she wouldn't be doing it all in vain.
I'm tired, Edward.
She whispered into my neck. And I was fucking tired too. But I didn't want to let her go. So I just fucking pivoted my body, and leaned over to turn out the lamp, never removing her from my grasp, and eased down onto my back with my girl lying on top of me in the middle of the bed. She rested easily, straddling me, and never ceasing her strokes of my hair. I hugged her to me tighter, crushing her warmth against my chest. She nuzzled into my shoulder, resting her head right below my chin so my face was inches from her shiny hair. But there was no fucking way I was letting my girl get cold, so I unwrapped my arms from around her bare back, reached both hands out beside me and grasped the covers in two fists, bringing them up and wrapping them around us protectively. I felt her free hand run across my bare chest lovingly as she found the ring and caressed it. She fingered it sweetly and began humming my song, while still stroking my hair. I tightened my grip around her, glancing at the clock and realizing it was past midnight. I let out a deep sigh, lifting my head just enough so that I could place a soft kiss at the top of her head. I held my lips there, holding my girl tightly to my chest, and praying, and fucking hoping, that I could be more for her someday, and she'd wait for me. She kept humming as I whispered sadly into the darkness of the room against her soft silky hair. "Merry Christmas, Bella."